رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ثم ما بعد. My dear respected brothers, sisters, teachers, my beloved students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It's an honor for me to address this gathering where, in addition to having community members, I have the honor of addressing people associated with a institution of learning. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help me deliver the message in the best possible manner. I'll try my best to make it simple, easy, focused, educational, and to the point. And I say, oh Allah, whatever good comes from you, accept it, Ameen. In this life, right, whatever short span of life that me and you are given, everyone has to have some objectives. Some goals need to be set. Otherwise, there is no fun in this life. This goal setting is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He set objectives and goal, and then he worked for it. It's ashwai, directionless, random, chaos or chaotic if things are not being chunked out, if goals are not being set. The path that me and you are going, and if we happen to be fathers and mothers too, then we got some added responsibilities on our neck. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question me and you directly. Bear with me a few moments and think of about 5 areas. We want to live a life where we have happiness, joy, comfort, no sickness, no disease. And this is, to my understanding, can be misdaq liqawli Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Ajaban li amri al-mu'min." The case of the believer is so wonderful. فَإِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ. There is goodness for him in every matter. فَإِنَّ أَصَابَتْهُ سَرَّاءٌ شَكَرَ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps him in a good shape, everything going smoothly, comfortable, good family, good life, then the reaction, this is the action. The reaction that comes out is shukr. وَإِنَّ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاءٌ. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happens to choose me and you or someone else to put him in a bad situation, give him tests, exams, agonies, pain, suffering, sickness, you name it, then the reaction is sabr. We got to have sabr and shukr together. And of course, this life is not fun only. It is fun for some people, only for those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destined it. And it is pain and agony and suffering and bala and test for those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to. In this, we come out, we're professional people. We have goals, we are working people. We have millions of responsibilities towards our job, to our children, to our families, to our society, and to our community. And we have that 15, 16 hours. We have to sleep too. In between, let's think of these 5. Number 1 in my list is called al-ilm. Can me and you survive without knowledge? That's why ulama says that al-ilmu nur. Ilm is like light, is nur. Without ilm, we're nowhere. And if you were to chunk the knowledge from the academic knowledge to the secular knowledge to the English knowledge to the Arabic knowledge, what comes on the top is what Rasulullah said in 2 beautiful du'as. He said, you have the liberty to learn whatever it feels like, but not at the expense of the beneficial knowledge. That's why he said, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'. Oh Allah, grant me a knowledge that benefits me in my deen, in my dunya. And we can safely imagine if the knowledge that I possess is not ilmun nafi', Then he helped me in some areas. How are we wandering around in the other area? Because that's where ilm nafi is needed. And to the opposite what he said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa. Oh Allah, save me. I seek your refuge from seeking a knowledge that doesn't benefit. So ilm nafi on the top. My number two is, which is very, very important, and being an educator, I emphasize this point to the fullest, that while we are securing and obtaining that knowledge, we have to make sure that what is the masdar of knowledge, the source that we are getting that knowledge to. There are many, many sources available now. You can get, like there is a saying, especially in this country, you say, information, information, and information. There are tons of information out there. What am I going to get? So we need to recognize the source. And masdar al-ilm is no one other than Allah. Allah is the source of knowledge. Allah gives knowledge. Knowledge comes through tools, through waslat, through sources. Number three, imagine that we have ilm and we understand the sources of ilm. In the ilm, my number three, we have maratib. We have ranks. And this society approves it. Before, now, later. How? They say those who are learned or acquired knowledge up to high school. After that, for some reason, they couldn't continue. Then there are those who happen to have bachelors, a little more knowledge. Then there are those who passed through masters. And there are those who went to become PhDs and doctors. And there are those who become professionals, mutakhassisin, specialize in their fields. That's why it may be funny to say that when my tooth hurts, I don't go to the barber, I go to the dentist. Because the ilm of the teeth, the barber doesn't possess. You need to find sources where I'm going to. And we need to educate this concept to our children from the very beginning. That Habibi, look, all this source, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we got to filter and find out what are the right sources. Because قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Knowledge and ilm is the only thing that makes people superior in the sight of Allah. Ilm. He said, oh Muhammad ﷺ, you declare those who possess knowledge and those who don't, are they equal? No, they are not. And we recognize this fact in this dunya. This fact is actually a confirmation of the divine statement that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. My number three is a shukr. If there is everything in my life and there is no shukr, then there is a lot missing. لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. That's a divine law. Allah has a divine law. You keep on thanking me, I'll give you more. Sometimes we don't. And a shukr not bil qawl. Shukr is not just by saying. Shukr is by action. Shukr by amal. So imagine we have ilm, and we know the masdar and the source, and we know our ranks, and we are thankful. What last but not least, that covers everything. It's like encompasses everything. And that's on my list, it's called at-ta'ah, the obedience. Obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in everything that connects my life and your life. From the time we wake up for Fajr, after being half dead, till we go to bed. And if we come out of this framework, then there's a lot missing. And there are consequences too, in this dunya and in the life of the hereafter. Now we need some examples. Is there a person who demonstrated in this life by focusing on these five. I'm going to take you through ayat 15 to 19 from Surah An-Naml in the very few minutes that I have. Beautiful ayat. It talks about Sayyidina Sulaiman. Who is Sayyidina Sulaiman? A prophet of Allah, a human being, a king, whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him unique power and authority that was never given to nobody. And it will never be given to nobody until the day of judgment. His ability to control absolute obedience, absolute power and control over humans, over jinns, over animals, over birds. He understands the language of them. He knows what they were talking. Even to the tiniest of the tiny, the ant that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala amazingly mentioned in this ayat. So let's walk through those ayat and see what we have and what we don't. Let's determine our areas of improvement. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins the dialogue by saying, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ عِلْمًا. In order to make it educational for everybody, I chunked it down in parts. So I'll go each part separate. Even in one ayat, I made it parts. So part one, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ عِلْمًا. Indeed, we, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we gave Sulaiman and Dawood what? Ilm. Ilm is source. Ilm is guidance. Ilm makes things easier. Ilm makes people stay away from committing sin because we know what halal and haram is. We know what is right and wrong is. We know what is appropriate and what is inappropriate is. All this comes from ilm. That's why on the top, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about ilm. Two, both of them, father and the son, qala, they said, Alhamdulillah. Oh Allah, thank you. Hamd and praise came because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed them the gift of knowledge. And then because Sulaiman knew that because of the knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised him in status. Knowledge raises people in status. Alhamdulillah alladhi faddalana ala kathirin min al-ibad. Oh Allah, thank you because you raised so many of us, preferred, make us superior over so many people. Declaration of faith. If you didn't want it, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I would have been done. You made me learn ilm. So I became up and I fulfilled the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that by acquiring knowledge, there is absolutely no doubt that people will go up. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a statement, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. We all learn from older people. Children learn from their fathers. We learn from our imams, from our mashayikh. وَوَرِثَ سُلَيْمَانُ دَاوُودَ. Sulaiman inherited from Dawood ilm and knowledge and hukum and ability to make decisions, and he mentioned وَقَالَ. It's always good that when we learn something good, we need to appreciate. We need to make dua for those who taught me this. And we need to put this into practice. And we need to make sure that people know that I possess this knowledge so that I can share. This reminds me that this Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, the ocean of knowledge, son of the uncles of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to say that in order to learn one hadith, he used to go to as many as 30 people. 30 people. Humility also. No matter how much I learn, I still need more. And then he said, oh people, we have been taught the language and the speech of the birds as a sign of thankfulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأُوتِينَا مِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. And we have been given everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me so much. Thanks should come. Even in difficult situation too. And that's why they said Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu had a son. And he was eating a food. He entered. He saw him eating that specific type of food. He asked him, what are you eating? I forgot the name of the son. So he said, Dad, I like this food, so I'm eating. So next time he saw him eating the same food, he said, well, you are eating the same food. He said, Dad, I told you, I like eating it, so I'm eating it. So the third time he saw it, so he said that famous quote that you and me need to tell our children. Our children, they say, if there are snacks are not there at home, I'm not going to do breakfast. Everything has to perish. Someday, we're not going to get pizza, of course. Someday, the pasta will not be there. Someday, that yummy, yummy dish that I eat will not be there. This is why he said, you have to teach your children, be rough on you sometimes. فَإِنَّ النِّعْمَةَ لَا تَفْنَى. Because the ni'mah does not last all the time. We need to teach our children that all this comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stays for those who are sabirin and shakirin and muti'in. Those who are obedient. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْفَضْلُ الْمُبِينُ. That he said, this is indeed grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you were to count my bounties and your bounties, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. Our refrigerators are full. Well, how many people, they don't have food to eat. We have choices. We're garbaging items that are not being touched simply because it's expired. Now, we gotta think for those who do not have clean drinking water to drink. Fadl. Fadl is not something, fadl cannot be luxury only. The sihha is a fadl. The good health is a fadl. The nice shape and body is a fadl. The good looking clothes that we have is a fadl. The nice place that we use is a fadl. The beautiful air-conditioned masjid is a fadl. The nice air-conditioned cars that we travel back and forth is a fadl. Sulaiman taught us that remember every fadl, even though if it is tiny. Even when you breathe, in the morning when you wake up safe and sound, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts soul in my body and your body, and brought us back to life after we are half dead, fadl. He said, here is another day for you. Keep on mentioning that fadl. وَحُشِرَ لِسُلَيْمَانَ جُنُودُهُ. The host, the people, the junud of Sulaiman were marshaled, were got together. And what it contained? مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ وَالطَّيْرِ. There were humans, there were birds, and there were jinns. And let me tell you this, me and you, or anybody else, all we want at home is discipline. In the masjid, we need discipline. Order at home, order. The mother wants the children to be disciplined. The teacher wants them disciplined. The imam wants the people, me and you, disciplined. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me and you disciplined in salah. Beautiful example of discipline in salah. We stand up. All barriers are shattered. You're rich, you're poor. You just connect your shoulder. Your hands are tied up. Your eyes are down. Your feet is connected. Your shoulders are connected. You're just thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you. And that's why an imam repeats, سَوُّوا صُفُوفَكُمْ. Straighten your rows. It means present this piece of act of worship in the most disciplined way. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at crooked lines. Discipline. And what Sulaiman said? فَهُمْ يُوزَعُونَ. His army, or all the units and sections, were placed into separate ranks. Order was there. Discipline was there. It's like we can imagine there was no human at the jinn section and there was no jinn at the human section. So there were no birds at the human section and the jinn section. Can be visualizing. Discipline comes out. حتى إذا أتوا على واد النمل. Until they passed by the valley of the ants. And in Arabic, an-naml means ants, many ants. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the valley that they passed through was inhabited by thousands and thousands of ants. But they have a leader. So when they saw this huge Sulaiman and his people are coming, the leader swung into action. And that's why the second time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not use the word naml, he said, قَالَتْ نَمْلَةٌ. That one ant came, leader ant. What did she say? She made a statement with the community that perfectly fits in all communities across US, in my opinion. What did she say? Ya ayyuhan naml. Again she used the word because she was talking to the masses, to the jamhur. He said, oh my ants, listen to me. Obedience, attention, concentration, love for the leader came. They all will listen. She gave them a statement and based upon reason. She told them, look, udkhulu masakina. Get out of here as fast as you can. Enter your holes. I have a safety concern for you. Few minutes, لا يحتمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. Sulaiman and his junud may come, they may walk over you, smush you under feet, and they don't know it. Because you're too tiny. Take care of yourself. So when the leader came, people obeyed. The entire community of ants obeyed that one ant. Why I say this? We have to be obedient to Allah. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ. We have to be obedient to Rasulullah. وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولِ. And then we have to be obedient to people in authority over us. وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ. So if ants can obey their leader ant, why can't we? The only thing we gotta do is to put my choice down and put the Amir's choice up, because we always have to keep Allah's choice up. Now just for Ujala Sariya, ants is a tiny animal. It's that tiny. It is said that ants have khasa'il, have qualities that me and you need that. They demonstrate in their daily life. So I'll count few. Ants have obedience. They follow directions. Ants have, there is no time to elaborate. Ants have discipline and order. All the time they walk in line. There is no, distraction. We have 2 lines, we have 3 lines, we form our own groups. They don't. Ants have responsibility, a feeling of responsibility, and then to us comes the feeling of accountability too. Ants have patience. Ants never give up. Never give up. They carry their dead. They carry that tiny piece of food in their mouth with this long walk, just right behind that one line. And we have seen that. Peaceful coexistence, they live side by side. We gotta do that. We're culturally different, ethically different. We have our own values. But then, if everyone is saying La ilaha illallah and Muhammadur Rasulullah, and we love our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is absolutely no reason that we can live in a peaceful coexistence. And finally, when they walk, Nowadays they are doing researches on the transportation system that the ants is presenting. I just recently read about it. فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكٌ مِّنْ قَوْلِهَا. Sulaiman, when he heard the speech, he smiled. He took the lesson. And this is my point. It doesn't really matter who the preacher is. He may be a younger imam. He may be a person who has more knowledge than I do. Or maybe a person that has less knowledge than I do. But there is absolutely no harm to listen to him and to obey if he says something right. The ant affected the most powerful man, Sayyidina Sulaiman. He took the lesson and he made a dua at the end. And this is the beautiful dua. So we chunked this dua into 3 parts. He said, قال رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي. And this is my final point. وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه وأدخلني برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. As soon as he saw that demonstration of surrender to their leader and a complete demonstration of pure obedience from ants, Sulaiman made this beautiful dua. He said, Oh Allah, inspire me, help me, motivate me to do what? Number 1, أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي. Oh Allah, make me thankful servant of Allah for all the bounties that you bestowed upon me and upon my parents. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who follow Sulaiman's habit. And we say Ameen. And then Sulaiman said, Oh Allah, inspire me and help me and motivate me to do what? أن أعمل صالحا ترضاه. That I do righteous actions. What kind of righteous actions? ترضاه, that pleases you. According to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Correct and authentic. Within the guidelines. If there is a confusion, I would have asked the Imam. I got to do the right actions. Some brothers didn't know, for example, they were not clear on the procedure of taking mandated shower. And they were doing it for a while until someone gave a khatira in the masjid and he talked about a right procedure between taking shower and what necessitates shower. So this brother said, it's good that I learned something. Ilm came. And the last but not least, he said, وَأَدْخِلْنِي بِرَحْمَتِكَ فِي عِبَادِكَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And he said, Oh Allah, no matter what I do, the entry into your righteous servants and to Jannah is all based upon what? Your mercy. So Jannah needs mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who give us the ability to be thankful servants of Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه. Let me summarize. To make this life successful, pleasant, in this dunya and in the life of the hereafter, we need to put focus areas in our life, as I said in the beginning. The motivating factors are ilm, sources of ilm, learning and knowing how to be thankful, and demonstrating thankfulness in action, and leading everything by a comprehensive package of obedience, as has been demonstrated by Sayyidina Sulaiman in his life. Allahumma inni da'in fa'aminu. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma salli alayhi bil awwalin wa salli alayhi bil akhirin wa salli alayhi bil mala'i al-a'la ila yawmiddin. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وأقم الصلاة.